Hello everybody, the lawn gnome is here. And if I go crazy, will you still call me Superman?
Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more than what I should. Yeah, Hollywood, well kiss me good. Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more.
Okay, we're here. This is going to be a review of one of the few films that I have known to be released for quite some time that had probably all the skepticism that you could possibly have thrown at it, not just from me per se, but from critics, from fans, and everybody else in between that knows this iconic character. Of course, I am talking about Superman, and the movie that I'm reviewing here today is Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, the newest reinvention, a much-needed reinvention of the Superman film franchise. We already saw Christopher Nolan do it for Batman, and he did a phenomenal job. And ever since Christopher Nolan has officially been the head chairperson of the DC Comics division of Warner Brothers, this is their first big project outside of Batman. So of course, with that guy running the show, with David S. Goyer writing the script alongside Chris Nolan's brother, and having a great choice of directors in Zack Snyder, who is a comic book fan through and through, what you're going to get in this video is a couple of things. A couple of spoilers, so if you don't want them, just turn the video off now. 2, you're going to get a video response to someone who I follow, Adriana Flo. And 3, nothing but the Lawn Gnome's patented comic book fanboy nuttiness, so this is going to be a lengthy review. I did not go into this movie with much skepticism because when I found out that Zack Snyder was taking this film franchise and reinventing it, I had so much positive in my mind because he has done 300 and Watchmen. The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole is not one of his greater things, but when it comes to comic book films, I just knew they got the right guy because I had a feeling he was not going to want to botch this up. Throw in another no-name actor in Henry Cavill, and you've got Michael Shannon, Kevin Costner, Russell Crowe, Diane Lane, and of course Amy Adams. I had a feeling that this was going to be a good movie. It was a great movie! I don't think that I have seen a better comic book film since The Avengers last year. This movie finally gave me, as a Superman fan, what I've always wanted, because, I'm going to say this right now, I hate the Richard Donner films. I do not like Superman Returns. I look at Superman as a great icon, a hero, but at the same time, someone who is going to punish the forces of evil with force and with determination. And that is what Superman finally does in this movie. He gets tossed around, but he pushes back, and he pushes back hard. In the final showdown of good versus evil in this movie between General Zod and Superman, I had a smile on my face as wide as any smile I have had in the theaters in years, saying, yes! They're doing it! They're finally giving me Superman! The one that I want! The one that Bruce Timm has glorified in television! I'm getting this! I love this movie! Buildings collapsing, cars flying! Oh my goodness, amazing! The origin story, very well done. A couple of things changed for cinematic purposes. Great comic book references, a great crew of actors. Michael Shannon was amazing as General Zod. A beautiful score given to us by Hans Zimmer. Forget the legendary John Williams thing. They threw that entire franchise out the window, much like they did with Tim Burton's Batman movies, and made this brand new. And they really captured the Superman persona beautifully. They made him stern, but at the same time, they made him humble. They made him modest. But they also gave him the ability to do what has to be done in order to protect the people that he loves. And that's why the soundtrack was so great. It showed that fierceness, but that humbleness and that modesty. And also, even when he does some of the things that he does in this movie, he shows remorse and saying, I shouldn't have done that. I loved that about him. I also feel, this is where Adriana Flo's review comes in, that she was not too big on the fact that they forced the love story between Superman and Lois Lane in, and also they really didn't talk about Clark Kent and really developing Clark Kent. But you want to know something? That's not what this movie is about. That is what the hopeful sequel is going to be about. This was the movie about Superman becoming Superman, looking at his past, looking at what he has come from, looking at what is in front of him, knowing that he has to have the people know who Superman is before they know who Clark Kent is. But of course you're going to get that at the end of the movie. You're going to know that this is not the end. You saw foreshadowing. You know that there's going to be another film because this one is phenomenal, and I feel that it's going to be more of what you were expecting to see. More of Clark Kent. More of Lois Lane and the Daily Planet. Hopefully Jimmy Olsen will be there. Yes, Jimmy Olsen is not in this movie. That's the one small thing I was not happy about, because I love Jimmy, and I think he's a great character. It's sort of like what Robin was in the Batman movies from Christopher Nolan, and in the end he shows up. So hopefully we'll see Jimmy in the next one. Hopefully we'll see more villains. And as far as the love story goes, I also like the fact that they put it aside. The fact that it wasn't Superman off to save Lois Lane every 5 seconds. I liked that. I liked that it wasn't about Superman and Lois Lane. That it was about Superman, the last son of Krypton, showing the people of Earth that I am going to be your hero. Man of Steel was great. I'm giving it 4 out of 4. I think you should see it. It is worth it. Forget about what the critics say because they say that if you're a Superman fanboy, you're going to love it. The average moviegoer is not going to like it. Let's put it this way. If you've seen the Batman movies from Christopher Nolan and you like them, then you're going to like this one because Christopher Nolan is all through this movie, even though he's not the director. And Zack Snyder did a phenomenal job. I'm so happy. Everybody did a great job on this movie. And I say that Man of Steel is a winner, one of the best, and I have to say Superman is here just the way he's supposed to be. So that's it, everybody. And the question that I'm going to leave for you at this point in time is, as far as I'm concerned, I think that they've officially opened the floodgates for a successful DC franchise. Do you think that they should reinvent the Green Lantern franchise, or do you think that they should just go into the sequel, which I really would love to see based on what I've seen? And there will also be a link to the Dark Knight Rises and the Green Lantern reviews that I did below. I believe that they should just continue the franchise based on Superman and Batman, but what do you think? I am the Lawn Gnome, and remember that actions speak louder than words.